Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I'm going to need your help with this one. Recall last year, it was March 13th, 2024, that the U.S. government decided that TikTok needed to sell to an American company if it wanted to remain an application in the United States of America. And at the time, they said they would give them 180 days to make this happen. They ended up extending that. And now the deadline is January 19th. TikTok must sell to an American company if it wants to remain open in the United States. That is the news as of the time of this broadcast, which comes Sunday, January 12th. And here's what's really interesting about this. March 13th was the day that our government made this decision. 3/13 as we write it in the United States. 313 is the number sequence. And from March 13, 2024 to January 19, 2025 is a span of 313 days. 313. And 313 is the 65th prime number. The 65th prime number. And January 19th, 2025 is a date that will have a numerology path of 65. You get that by adding the day plus the month plus the year in two parts. 1 plus 19 plus 20 plus 25 is 65. 65 would break down to 11. 11 would break down to 2. But anyhow, again, 313, span of 313 days, 65th prime, 65 date numerology. So I was thinking, we know the government performs these perfect numerical rituals. Oftentimes it's predictive programming. Again, DC is the Masonic city. They etch on the Masonic temple Allah's number. Again, Masonry is based in Kabbalah. That's where the practice of coding numbers into words comes from. So I was just thinking of like all the little pieces of the puzzle that are out there. You guys might recall the day that the virus arrived in China, the first confirmed case in the world in Bill Gates' backyard, King County, when Corona means crown, in the city with the world's biggest needle. You might recall the day after that was the news, then what popped up on Netflix was the next pandemic. And you might recall a little before that, the World Economic Forum, the Johns Hopkins University, the CDC from China, and the CDC from the U.S., along with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they did something called Event 201. They simulated the pandemic October 18th, 2019, the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China. And you might recall in that simulation that 65 million people die over 18 months from the corona. If you don't know that to this day, it's time to get caught up. Yeah, go back and look. October 18th, 2019, Event 201, pandemic simulation. You'll see 65 million die in the simulation over 18 months. And as we pointed out, the simulation was 65 days from Melinda Gates' birthday. Melinda Gates, born August 15th. So, you'll remember that the word pandemic equates to 65. Pandemic equates to 65. And you'll also remember that the same people who did Event 201 actually did a pandemic simulation before that in 2017 called SPARS 2025, simulating a pandemic in 2025. And of course, right now you have all this news of bird flu and cases in China and in the East, and or is it? I know we got bird flu here in the U.S. right now, supposedly, and that's why the egg prices are sky high out here in Washington State and in other places. I might be getting it twisted. I think it's bird flu in China, or they got some other virus right now. I know there's multiple viruses threatening the earth right now. So anyway, TikTok goes the clock. TikTok also goes the countdown. And I'm wondering if that's what this ritual is really about. This Chinese company, ByteDance. I just have to laugh at how ByteDance equals 79. It just reminds me how the scandemic was declared on the 79th day of Anthony Fauci being 79 days, the 79th day of Anthony Fauci being 79 years old. Again, he's a member of the Jesuits known as the Society of Jesus, which equates to 79, and it also equates to 191. If you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language. 4 base ciphers of the English language, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology. So, yeah, if anybody else can think about what the 65 would be about, hopefully it's not. Hopefully they're not going to do the SPARS 2025 thing. Hopefully that's not where this is going. But they are threatening with all these, stories. We know these people like to make history repeat itself. If I forgot to finish the thought, I was saying that, the day before the stuff showed up in Seattle, they added to Netflix Bill Gates' documentary, The Next Pandemic, and he's talked about the next pandemic numerous times. And don't forget, the same week that the Russia-Ukraine war started, Gates and others were meeting with the World Economic Forum, planning how to make sure everybody gets jabbed a lot quicker in the next pandemic. So, just to go back, the House passed the bill March 13th. Again, at the time they said 180 days, but they ended up going beyond that. So, obviously, now that it's to January 19th. So yeah, if anybody else has an idea on what they're doing with this 313, because it's clearly something. It's clearly something. Leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Till next time.